Okay, well, global investors are growing more bullish as the recovery gains momentum, but they warn that government intervention could stop the rally in its tracks. Brian Weiss has more from D.C. on all those responses from the latest Bloomberg global poll. Brian?
Hi, Betty. Well, let's start with the good news that Bloomberg subscribers are actually more optimistic that the U.S. market is set for gains. Take a look at this. Nearly 6 in 10 respondents are optimistic about the investment climate here in the U.S. That's totally flipped from October, when 6 in 10 were actually pessimistic about U.S. investments. Globally, our customers say China, Brazil, and India are the best places to put your money if you're looking outside the U.S. But buyer beware. Even though respondents said China is the best opportunity over the next year, more than 60% say its market is just a bubble waiting to burst. Now, overall, more respondents now say their particular economy is improving compared to when we last asked them in October. Betty?
Now, even though there's this optimism, Brian, though, investors do have some concerns, though, about the rally.
There are plenty of jitters out there, specifically about what government intervention would mean for the recovery. More than 3/4 of U.S. respondents think President Obama's proposed $90 billion tax on banks will hurt them more than it will help them. And investors worry that restrictions on bonuses will cause banks to move elsewhere where there's less regulation. 6 in 10 say they're against those salary restrictions, Betty.
Okay, so they're worried about that, but what did they say about investors' calls to regulate the Fed?
Yeah, well, investors tell us they've got Ben Bernanke's back on this one. There's a current proposal in Congress that would, of course, open the Fed's books to congressional scrutiny. 70% of Americans that we surveyed say regular audits of the Fed would politicize the agency. They say that would make it harder for the U.S. to survive a crisis. And while the Fed and Treasury have defended their helping hand for banks, American investors aren't buying it. Most of them, nearly half, polled would prefer to see big banks fail. If there's another crisis, they're not in favor of more help for them. Betty?
Okay, Brian, thanks so much giving us the scoop on that Bloomberg poll.